Well, hey there. Welcome to the Movie Review Mom YouTube channel. I'm the mom and I do the movie reviews. And my goal is to give you the heads up on filmmaking quality and content so that you can decide whether or not you want to spend time or money or both sometimes watching a particular film. So today, the movie I'm reviewing is called Air Force One Down. This action drama releases in select theaters on February 9th, 2024, my brother's birthday. And then it quickly goes to streaming on February 13th, 2024. So the movie is rated R and is an hour and 30 minutes. My overall movie review mom grade for this is wah wah, a C minus. So let me explain why. I'm going to give you an overall in a nutshell, and then I'll point out things I liked, things I didn't like, and why. Tips for parents, themes worth talking about, funny lines, interesting lines, and recommendations for other films that are sort of similar or better that I think you might like. All right, so let's dive in. In a nutshell, the story is about a rookie Secret Service agent who goes from serving donuts at a meeting to guarding the president on Air Force One that is being hijacked by terrorists who aren't happy about an energy deal. The film was directed by James Bamford, and writing credits go to Stephen Paul, who also produced it. So here's a list of things that I did like about the movie. First of all, I didn't recognize many of the cast members except for a couple of them, Anthony Michael Hall and Dasha Polanco. Fans of Dasha Polanco will be happy to see her. She's lost a ton of weight and looks terrific. Unfortunately, she's not in very many scenes in this movie. It always drives me nuts when people don't pick up the weapons on the ground when they could be helpful. In this movie, we actually see an agent take advantage of other people's discarded weapons and ammo often. Finally. And when I say discarded, I mean, the person gets shot and dies and then leaves all their guns and ammo. And I'd be quickly scooping up all that stuff. That's expensive stuff. Keep watching during the final rolling credits to hear a good speech by the president. Now, there were some things obviously that I didn't like about the movie. First of all, at the 5 minute, 50-second mark, the dialogue must have been changed and voiced over because the lips don't match the audio. And then it happens again at the 8 minute mark and 11 seconds. The good news is that those were the only two times that I really spotted it. Maybe it happened later, but there was action and running around and it wasn't as noticeable. But overall, the movie just looks kind of like a low budget film within minutes. And it looks like a January movie, if you know what I mean. Now, I feel terrible saying this, but there were so many things that I didn't like about how Catherine McNamara played this role. And I don't know that she was the best actress for this role to begin with. The president, I think she would be great in other things, but just not in this role. The president of the United States sits and watches a girl, her, fight a bad guy several times. And I'm like, dude, get in there. The fight sequences are pretty awful. Many of the shooting scenes look like they are straight out of a video game. Now, some people might say, well, that's a good thing. If that's what you're looking for, then yeah, maybe. I think that there is an audience for this movie for sure. It'll be young kids, young boys especially, who just love the eye candy and like that video game action. If you're looking for a hard-hitting drama with real good action sequences, John Wick style, this is not the movie. So there's another character, he's the uncle of the starlet, and his name is Uncle Sam. And I just was like, seriously? I know we're trying to get all patriotic in this movie, but I don't know. Maybe that was supposed to be a playful wink to the audience, but I just took it kind of as maybe obvious writing or something. I don't know. Now, I can't tell you how many times I laughed out loud because of the ridiculous things that I was seeing on the screen. And this might be a great movie for parties, where you have your friends over, especially teenagers. They're all over at the house and people are goofing around and sort of semi watching the movie. And then they can wander into the room and watch something and then laugh and have a good time. And you're not going to miss any deep dialogue or, anything big that matters with the plot because it's just sort of silly. There are many dumb plot holes. And so just going in this, know that let that stuff roll down your back and don't get all upset by it. If you're there for the eye candy and some action, then you'll be fine. There is a silly scene where we're supposed to be convinced that a romance is going to break out. And I was like, really? No, don't do that. Come on. And I think ultimately I felt like the characters and the roles were sort of disrespecting the President of the United States and the Secret Service by kind of creating these characters like this. Let me give you some tips for parents. I think kids are going to be bored, and so will some adults. There is violence, lots of it, with bloody deaths. We see people get shot many times with blood splatters. There is some profanity, including F-bombs. And we see the side view of a topless woman. Really? Come on. I mean, I get it. I get who the target audience is for this. Some of the themes that are illustrated well are judging others, politics, service to country, duty. Now, whenever I watch movies, I write down the funny lines and the interesting lines, and I have them all on my written review at moviereviewmom.com. But I'll share a few of them with you right now. I didn't write down any funny lines. Ultimately, there was nothing worth mentioning. There is some attempts at humor, but most of it doesn't really land. But there were some interesting lines that I'll share with you. So Catherine McNamara plays this Secret Service gal. Her name is Allison. And at one moment she says, I was thinking what makes the great great is how they handle pressure, which is 100% true. We're hearing a lot of the word resilience being tossed around and pivoting, of course, during COVID, but resilience is so important. And I find that it's lacking in today's culture, that we have a lot of entitled attitudes mucking about, and that attitude of grit and duty and digging in hard and deep to do the right thing just isn't as prevalent as it used to be during that golden generation where they would lie about their age to go to war, and now our military is having a hard time recruiting because nobody wants to die for anything. Anyway, okay, I don't mean to get on a soapbox. Here's another quote. This is spoken by Rodinoff, who's played by Raid Serbidzija. And I probably didn't pronounce that name correctly. But anyway, he is a bad guy. He's a Russian. And he says, one man's war criminal is another man's hero. And in my country, I'm a hero. Oh, I should have done that with a Russian accent. Actually, here's another line that he says, I'm not a murderer. Don't make me have to become one. The guy's a murderer. So that line was just sort of silly. And then here are two lines that maybe I could have put on the list of funny lines. And they're spoken by the President of the United States. And he's played by Ian Bohen. And he says, you just got to do what you think is right. That's good counsel. That's not a funny line. But, you really do. Just try to do what's best and try to make the next best choice. Do the next right thing, as we all learned in Frozen 2. But here's an interesting line, or funny line kind of, where he's talking to a bad guy and he says, you've lost everything. You just don't know it yet. Because he's such a bad guy. I mean, the president's trying to be a tough guy. Anyway, let me give you some recommendations for some other movies that are sort of similar, but I think better, where there are Secret Service guys and good guys trying to protect the president. The first one I thought of instantly is White House Down. And then another one is Olympus Has Fallen. And they're both Secret Service agents who are flawed characters, but are definitely respectful of the office of the President of the United States, willing to sacrifice their life to protect him and do what is right. and lots of action and, some other fun stuff. So anyway, check those out. Thanks for spending some time with me. If you find my reviews to be helpful, please give them a thumbs up. And if you have time, hit the subscribe button while you're at it, and even comment down below. All of those free, simple actions spread magical YouTube fairy dust all over my channel to help it grow, because I want to help people save time and money. It's the worst when you watch a movie and you're like, oh, I just wasted an hour and a half of my life, right? So keep watching. Come on back for the next movie review. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.